Well, welcome everyone to today's episode of TMI Advice You Didn't Want. We got to jump into the Schumann Resonance again because it just keeps spiking, it keeps going crazy, and everybody on TikTok is feeling something. Well, most people, not everybody. Some people are going, "What are you guys talking about? I don't feel anything." But we want to just kind of talk about that a little bit more because this is really top of mind for everyone right now. So let's dive in and talk about it. So, in case we haven't met, my name is Karen.
And my name is Ashley. And yeah, I think even the people that are not feeling it in quotations are feeling it. They just
Yeah.
don't have the awareness that that's what it is.
Yeah, I wonder too though because a lot of the people that we are attracting on our TikTok are people that are spiritually minded, are people that are developing and working on that energetic frequency, right? And there are definitely people that like will comment and be like, I'm not noticing any difference. Like things are like, and you can tell that they have some sort of like the way that they're speaking, they understand what I'm talking about. It's not just like random people. So I don't know. I don't know that we could just sit here and be like, I know exactly what's going on with everybody. Like, how could we know what's going on with everybody? That's their journey. So I really think that this is like for me, I think this is just going to be our stories and what's going on with us and what our experience has been with this. Because I know you and I, Ashley, have had completely separate experiences, but they're both valid. And that was one thing that I said on one of my TikToks the other day is that it doesn't matter. And I'm getting big chills as I'm talking about this. It's not positive, it's not negative, it's your experience.
Mhm.
And what are you going to do with your experience is basically what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I can't sit here and tell you, oh, this is happening, so this must be what's going on. Like, I can guess, but at the end of the day, it's up to each of us to actually do that inner work and decide, wait a minute, I'm spending time thinking about XYZ for way too long and I'm obsessing over it and it's making me sick. Or maybe it's the opposite direction of holy shit, I feel so good. I've had some of the most amazing experiences. And how do I keep doing that? Because
Mhm.
it's not just about having the experience one time, it's about going, what did I do to get there? How
Yeah.
did I create that in my life? So at the end of the day, this is really just to me a conversation again about the inner work of what we're doing with what's being handed to us right now.
Yeah. And I think what's important to notice is like we don't always have enough presence to really know what's going on, if that makes sense. So, like something one of our mentors just recently told me to do is track things.
Mhm.
And so I started tracking emotional spikes, whether they were
Yes.
good or bad and that kind of stuff. And she said to also track which moon phases you were in. And I was like, it's really interesting because in our household we always have a spike in like irritability and like just like heightened emotions, I guess would be the way to say it, because it's easier to be upset, easier to be sad, easier to be triggered, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
within like 1 to 3 days after the full moon. And it's just like it's consistently like that. But when you're not tracking things like that, you don't always have that awareness of what's going on. And so I think a lot of times that's like, oh yeah, I'm not feeling anything, I'm not experiencing anything, but we're just not really paying as much attention because life is busy, life is full, there's lots going on. Um, and then as someone that has like you that follow more of the Schumann resonance, and then my other friend follows more astrology, there's a lot of players in the game. Like there's
Mhm.
a lot of energy going on. And a lot of astrologers were saying that this last full moon that happened on Friday, so that would have been like over a week ago, was one of the most powerful, potent energy full moons in a long time. And so there's that kind of thing too. And um it plays a role no matter what. Like it like full moons affect oceans, they affect animals and all that kind of stuff that are affecting us too. We are more powerful than all those outside sources and everything like that.
Yeah.
But it's always going to affect our 3D body in some way.
Yeah.
Um, a weird kind of like analogy to this is it's really weird, it's really strange, but and it's like simple, but I am someone that gets a lot of pain in my feet. Like I started hating shopping as a child because walking on concrete hurts me so much, like physically. Like I've always had high arches, small feet, and if I'm on concrete for a long time, I'm in excruciating pain. Like my feet are throbbing. And I was like that as a child. So whenever I would go shopping, I loathed it because I associated it with like immense physical pain. And now, like if I'm doing lots of housework or lots of cleaning, same thing, my feet will throb. And it's kind of funny because my daughter has this big astrology book and it talks about based on your astrology sign, what physical ailment is going to be most relevant. And mine, as a Pisces, is feet.
Mhm.
4 feet. And then my girlfriend as a Libra is struggles with her kidneys, and that's exactly what my daughter's book says is Libras struggle with kidneys, and it's fun. Um, Anyways, the whole point of this is the last few months we've been doing a lot of soccer. And so we are on a soccer field in nature, on the grass, at least 4 times a week. And I took that opportunity to stand barefoot in the grass the entire time. And normally, if I stand, I get really sore. My feet get really sore. But I was standing in
You were
grass.
grounded.
Yeah, grass is a natural pain reliever, grounding, like it gives so much vitality. And even like my doctor, not my like spiritual person, not my mentor, my doctor has said that there is scientific evidence to stand in grass and it will help your physical body. And
Absolutely.
so every time I went to soccer, all the parents would bring chairs and all that kind of stuff, and I wouldn't. I would stand. And I would stand barefoot. I would always take off my shoes. And so for that hour to 2 hours, depending on which day it was, I was standing barefoot. And I found that I could last longer in my kitchen cleaning, significantly. Like, and the pain was significantly less. Soccer's now over. I'm not doing that literally for an hour to an hour or an hour to 2 hours 4 times a week, and my feet pain is significantly greater. And had I not consciously made that decision, based off of my awareness of how standing in grass can help, I would never have noticed something like that.
Yeah, you basically had like that information that was given to you by your doctor, and
Yeah.
you said, you know what, I'm going to test this out and see if this is true, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing that's so important for all of us, like to always be in a constant state of curiosity and learning, whether it's on a 3D level or a 5D level. Okay. So, like, 3D and 5D in this current universe that we find ourselves in this current dimension we find ourselves in, they work hand in hand, right? Like we we got to do both at the same time. So learning on a 3D level means things like reading, talking to people, getting more information, right? But we can also connect with that 5D and learn things about ourselves, about the universe, and really grow in that way too. It really is, if you think about it in that way, it really is kind of a magical thing that we have the opportunity to learn in different ways. Because think about if you're not connected to this physical body right now, because our soul is like, we are a part of this physical body, right? Like it's not us, but it's a part of us, right? At this point in this dimension, like we get to experience life in a really cool way. Whereas if we were in 5D, it's different, right? Like it's a thought and a feeling in 5D and you create the end. But here you kind of get to see the processes, and I kind of look at like the processes of how I create now, where
Yeah.
it's like you see the step by step. You get new information, you decide to make a new choice. Now you start to do something differently. Now you start to see experiences that are completely different, and now you get to go, holy shit, I created this. How cool is that, right? Like this is just the way in this current reality that we find ourselves creating. And astrology, so I would actually say the Schumann resonance is actually astrology as well. The Schumann resonance is actually the measurement of the Earth's energy, and the Earth is a part of astrology, right? So It is. I just don't go in depth into astrology because I focus more for myself. And I've said this before. I focus more for myself on, okay, that thought came up. I don't really
Mhm.
like that. How long do I want to sit in this thought? How long do I want to keep thinking about that thought? How long do I want to keep feeling that way, right? To me, that's the inner work that really overcomes, but I also understand that there are things like astrology that are there are energetics around me, whether it's people, objects, things, the planets, right? Like these things do still have energies as well that I have to learn how to navigate through those energies also. Like I have to understand when things trigger me, it's like, okay, that actually was brought up because of this energy that is really pulling it out, right? And that's really what I think that the Earth's energy is showing us right now. It's showing us this is my opinion. This doesn't fit for you, great, but like the Earth's energy is drawing up things that need to be released, and in order to release them, to me, it's like we got to notice that we're doing that, and then go, what do I want to do differently? What's
Mhm.
a new experience that I can have as a result of having a new thought around that experience, right? So at the end of the day, when I look at our TikTok and I see all the people that are like, oh my god, I'm having the worst experience, or oh my god, I'm having the best, most enlightening experience, like I'm praising you regardless of where you are, because that to me is your growth journey.
Yeah.
If you're aware of it, that is your growth journey. And we could choose to wallow in the holy shit, I feel like crap, or we
Yeah.
could go, what is this teaching me? So, like you, for example, with your feet, like it taught you, I need to spend more time in nature. Our body's always telling us shit. Are we listening, or are we ignoring it, right? Like our body is telling us, hey, I need to be outside more in the dirt. Like, hello. Like that gave you that new experience. And so I truly think that like the Earth's energy right now is telling us what we need. And
Mhm.
so the question is, do we want to listen to it, or do we want to fight it? And I think a lot of times when we resist is when things can tend to get worse, right? We tend to fight and get frustrated with it, or we try to go against what our body is telling us, and that can a lot of times make things worse too. So let it be a process, though. Like we don't have to figure it out all today.
But I think like the other thing is too, when we are like, oh, we feel crappy or we feel bad for like the people on our TikTok that are going through bliss versus like dog shit, it really doesn't matter.
It
Like
doesn't.
your 3D body is reacting however it needs to react, and it doesn't mean that it's karma or you're doing something
Hmm.
wrong. You're not having the same up leveling experience or any of that kind of stuff. Um, and I think that's like where too for me, sometimes I move through it and I feel great and sometimes I feel awful. And sometimes it's a combination of both where I'm bouncing back and forth.
Hmm.
Um, but really what I like about the Schumann resonance and astrology is not like it's like, oh, this is that making this happen, because at the end of the day, you still have to.
Hmm.
It's almost like you're getting a little glimpse into your future, is how I see it.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, I know around the full moon, I'm going to have more grace with my partner and my kids because we just naturally are more heightened, all
Mm.
of us. And it kind of gives me a little bit of like a preemptive of like, oh, they're not acting the way they normally act right now. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this isn't how they normally are. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, it's the full moon right now. That makes sense. So then I'm able to have more grace around it. Just like my kids when they switch back and forth from homes.
Yeah.
On like the so they switch every Monday or sorry, every Tuesday at 2:30, and Monday morning I can already start to see that shift in them.
Hmm.
And so I have to have more bubble wrap around them. And we are very intentional that expectations don't change. Like we're not going to they don't get to have outbursts because of it. The expectations are the same, but there's a different level of like empathy and understanding and grace. And it's kind of like a juggling act. But anyways, it's just that's how I view astrology and the Schumann resonance. I'm like, okay, there's a weird spike in the Schumann resonance and all this weird stuff is happening. That makes sense. Or like when Mercury retrograde happens, it's like, oh, my computer's not working, my dishwasher's not working, my laundry machine's not working. It's like, you just gotta laugh at it. It's like interesting how
Yeah.
that kind of stuff happens. And it's like, this is just part of the process. So, also if things continuously happen, repetitively, you know that something's there. I remember hearing like Abraham Hicks, which a lot of people talk a lot about, as like kind of having her up on a pedestal, but she was a normal human being
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And on one of the books or conferences, I don't know what it was. I think it was a book. Her husband was talking about how their floors and every house they are in, their floors something fucks up. And he's like, if you could really just deal with this issue, because it was something that she was energetically bringing into their life.
Yes. Yeah,
And,
100%. If it keeps
and for
happening.
yeah, and every place, every time something would go wrong with their floors, and they'd have to constantly be fixing their floors. And they had awareness that it was something that she was energetically bringing in. I don't think they name what it is, but they knew it was her bringing it in. And the husband would be like, "It'd be really nice if you could deal with this, so we didn't have to keep fixing our floors." And she's like, "Yeah, it would be nice, but." It hasn't happened yet, you know? And that's where it's like we can beat ourselves up so much and all that kind of stuff. But we're gonna have those things happen, and
Yeah.
as we up level, I think they happen almost more frequently because you're more aware of them and you're more aware that it's coming in, and it becomes humorous.
I think at the end of the day, too, it's always about asking ourselves, and not in a way to beat ourselves up, what do I need to change about myself in order for my 3D reality to change?
Yeah,
I mean, when you ask that question, it's an open ended question. Now, your brain is looking for what's the answer, but you're not sitting there trying to answer it. You're allowing it to be open and allowing to receive the answer as you're going through your day, right? So, I ask myself this question a lot these days because it's like, okay, there's certain things I'd like my 3D reality to look like. So, what do I need to change about me in order to make that the reality? How do I change my thoughts and my feelings so that like my energy is like putting out the energy of attraction for that thing, right? And so it's fun because when you start to do this, your life becomes more of the experiment too. You
yeah,
start to really experiment with it and go, wait a minute, like I don't have to take this so seriously. Like
yeah,
I don't have to. Like I've said this before on this podcast, life is not that serious. It can be an experiment and it can be a fun experiment of what do I need to change about myself internally? What am I
mhm,
missing? That if
yeah,
I was to really notice that more consistently, that I
yeah,
could create change around that.
yeah,
And it should be fun. It shouldn't be a resistance. It shouldn't be, oh, I can't stand this person. Oh, I can't stand that I don't have money. Oh, I can't stand that I don't have whatever that you're looking to create. That's the resistance,
mhm,
right? When we do that, we're creating that resistance and we're actually saying, I don't want that thing because we're putting up walls and resistance to the energies that are telling us, hey, you need to work on this. Hey, this is the thing you need to look at. Like when it keeps coming, we keep feeling, this is the important piece that I missed forever. The feeling that happens over and over and over and over again is the feeling that you need to look at.
mhm,
That's the feeling that is literally blocking you from the thing that you want. So think about what's the programmed behavior that I've been doing unconsciously, not even knowing that I've been doing it, that's actually bringing this my way, right? And as you start to peel that back, and this is a process, you don't just wake up tomorrow morning and go, this is the thing I need to stop doing, and suddenly you stop doing it. It's
mhm,
kind of like if you decide, say you ate candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're going to have some sort of addiction to it. If you
mhm,
decide, hey, I don't want to do this anymore because I realize that it's not good for me, the moment that you stop, your body's going to go, I want candy. And it's going to scream at you, right? Because you're so addicted to at the end of the day, it's the emotion that the candy gives you. You're addicted to that emotion. And
yeah,
so once you start to cut that off, you'll start to gradually go, oh, I don't want it anymore today. And then it'll go another day. Oh, suddenly I don't want it. And then you're suddenly a week, 2 months out, and you're like, I haven't had candy and I feel good. Okay. All right. This is what I needed to do. Right. But it's a process.
Mm.
So it's not about beating ourselves up. It's about just being in the experiment and at the end of the day going, how did I do today? Did I
Mm-hmm.
do okay? If you didn't, that's okay. We're not beating ourselves up. We're just noticing I could probably do better. Let me plan what I'm going to do better next time. And then I'm going to do that differently.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what like the different like energies are kind of bringing to light as
Yeah.
well. Like,
Yeah.
that's where looking at the Schumann resonance, looking at astrology, when the planets are different places or the Schumann resonance is spiking in different ways, there's going to be different things that come up. Or even like I was watching a video about like your period and how like a lot of females feel more emotional during their period, like during their actual bleed. And it says whatever you're more emotional with is where you need more healing around. Like it's not just this random crazy emotion is what you need more healing around. And so it's never just like random. It's never just
Right.
like, oh, that's just happening for no reason. Like there's always going to be a reason behind the crazy that's going on. So, um, I think that's where it's really important to like have that self-awareness. I think that's where like journaling and that kind of stuff really helps. And I'm not a big like journal just a journal kind of person, like just to write down my thoughts. I like more of that like Caroline Leaf, like purposeful, like rewiring your brain journaling. But I've heard from a lot of people that tracking is so important because when you track, you're able to see like the consistencies and the all the like normal things that are going on in your life and bring more awareness to them and it helps you to be more present. Like I find when I crazy track, I have so much more awareness and so much more understanding and I give myself more grace because I have more of that understanding as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you can see on a very like you can see on a moment to moment level because when we're just looking at ourselves in a general sense, we just see like the big picture. When you start to track, you start to see the more minute things of what is actually happening with you, right?
mhm,
And what are the things that you really want to focus on and what do you really want to change? And I mean, it's just like if you're like, hey, I really truly want to get serious about losing weight, right? Like it's important to, okay, I'm gonna weigh myself in at the same time every day. I'm gonna track how that looks. I'm gonna know what it is that I'm eating every day. I'm gonna know all of that stuff. I'm gonna know what my exercise looks like. How am I moving my body? Like it's the same thing. Like it's just tracking the emotional side of it, right? So um for one thing, like though, it's all just a process. And
mhm,
that's the best part of it because you can really start to look at what the process looks like at like stand back and be the observer of your life and be
mhm,
like, actually that was really cool that I changed this and as a result of that small change this was created in my life, right? I can see that happening in my life more and more as I continue to do this. Like I see some big changes happen as I really look at those small, minute details that are going on with me. I start
yeah,
to see, okay, if I'm done with this, I've said that I'm done with this particular emotion, right? Said I don't want to do it anymore. So when it does come up, how long am I allowing myself to sit in that emotion? Because I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, you shouldn't experience that emotion. That's called stuffing." We're not
mhm,
doing that. But how long do I want to do it? Right? Like I've said this before on this podcast, but an emotion creates a hormone in our body, right? Think about that. Whenever we have any kind of emotion, we'll just name happiness, okay? When we have happiness like come up, our brain actually is saying, hey, we need to release some dopamine because this person's happy. The feeling that we get in our body is from the hormone, okay?
mhm,
when we have that hormone released into our body, it's about 90 seconds for the length, 90 seconds to about 2 minutes for the length of that hormone to be in our bloodstream if we don't continue it, right? So if we say, oh, I'm happy, and then we don't continue to think about happy thoughts after that, we just go neutral after that, that hormone's going to last for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes in our body.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it in the opposite direction, though. If we get angry, how long are those cortisol going through our body because we're angry and we're frustrated, right? Are we continuing the thought of either happiness or are we continuing the thought of anger? How long do we want to do that for? Right?
Yeah.
So the question is, do we allow, and now I'm not talking about trauma. That's a totally different story. Don't get mad at me, anybody that's listening. But because trauma, yes, it's a different story. We really have to unpack a lot of things with that. But when it comes to emotions, like, oh, this person's frustrating me, I can keep staying frustrated if I keep talking about it, if I keep reliving it, if I keep experiencing the same, putting myself in the same situations over and over and over again. I'm going to continue to feel frustration, anger, because I continue to allow that to be. But just like with the sugar analogy, I can say, wait a minute, I have been overindulging on the feelings of anger and frustration. I need to stop doing it. And just like with candy, we got to cut it out, and we got to notice when we're feeling those cravings, and we got to notice, okay, wait a minute. I don't need to feel frustrated or angry right now. I actually don't want to feel that way. I choose, because I've been practicing what it feels like to feel happy. I've been practicing what it feels like to enjoy nature. I can actually focus on those things instead of focusing on the things that I don't. Because what we focus on, that's going to grow. I know that sounds corny, cliche, but what we focus on is what grows in our life and in our body, and what we bring to us and manifest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, again, that's where the Schumann resonance and astrology play a fun role, because when you know something's happening, you're able to have like a preemptive awareness around it. And it kind of just gives you a little like hint as to where it's going. And so then there's more awareness, and you're going to catch that stuff more easily. And for me, I don't jump into those emotions as easily and as frequently, because I already had a little clue. So like whether you call it a trigger or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
or I think it's called when a happiness thing happens, it's called a glimmer. Like when you have those like you're triggered with happiness or something blissful. And so when I have that awareness, okay, Venus is in retrograde right now, relationship stuff is going to be popping up. I create an atmosphere where there's going to be an opportunity for more glimmers than triggers, if that makes sense. And so you're able to utilize that, because where your attention goes, like you said, it grows. And so that's kind of the same thing as the Schumann resonance in astrology. They're amplifying specific energy. So if you understand where your placements are and where your planets are, and then Venus is in retrograde and you know where your Venus is, you're able to kind of set yourself up to have magnified energy in those areas, and it can be helpful or harder. And so that's where I feel like it kind of just sets you up in a fun way, with the Schumann resonance and whatever it is, to just have more of what you want. It kind of takes the edge off or makes things easier for you. But at the end of the day, you are creating it, whether it's good or bad. And just because it's bad doesn't mean it's really bad, you know? So I kind of like to think of it like, I don't know, have you played Dungeons and Dragons before?
Mm-mm, no.
No. Or even like my partner plays a lot of Diablo. It's kind of like when I watch a lot of TikToks about other people talking about manifestation, they talk about it being like a game or a simulation.
Mm-hmm.
And like with those like role play games, you set up your character. You design who it is. And based off of like in Dungeons and Dragons, based off of the attributes, the class, and all those things that you pick, that's what you're going to be naturally talented at. So in this reality, when you act as if, because everything starts with behavior, when
Hmm.
you act as if something has already happened, you start to believe it's already happened. And so then I find using the Schumann resonance and using astrology is to be like, okay, this is going to be helpful to me. Like right now, the Schumann resonance has spiked. I need to spend more time resting. So, what can I do to act as if I already have what I want in a resting situation? Okay, now it's a little bit quieter. Now is the time to work harder and really go. What can I do to like do income producing activities if you're wanting to build wealth that is going to help me in that situation? Knowing that that energy is going to support that, but you're still acting as if it's already happened. And so basically, you're designing yourself as a movie character or a video game character or a Dungeons and Dragons character, and you're acting as that character. And that's why role-playing games are so fun because you get to be someone different, but you get to do that in your own life, and that's how you manifest what you want.
Well, I mean, if you actually look at our at this dimension, you can actually see, and this is a scientific thing too, that things are not what they appear, right? We
Yeah.
see less than 1% of our reality.
Hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that we don't see with our naked eye. We see light, basically. We see the colors of the rainbow. That's what we see. There's other things that we do not know that are at play as well. There are energies, and everything around us is energy. It's just an illusion that's a hard piece of thing. Like you can actually look at the fact that an atom, when you get all the way down to an atom, is actually like less than, I forget what the number is. It's like less than like 0.1% is actually physical. Okay. Think about that for a second. That's not very physical. That's how come I always say that life is an illusion because it's really not real. Like, think about, like, I'm doing a lot of reading on lucid dreaming right now because it's just so fucking fascinating to me. I have naturally had lucid dreams since I was a child. And now I'm like, I want to be more intentional about having more and more lucid dreams because I have some really crazy experiences happen. But think about like when you're lucid dreaming, everything is truly in your brain.
Hmm.
So the more that I study lucid dreaming and then I look at this 3D reality, and I'm putting air quotes up with the 3D reality, I'm like, fuck, life is a lucid dream. Holy shit, I'm just playing by the rules of Newtonian physics because I think that that's how I need to play. But that is not how I need to play. And the more that you start to grasp that and understand that, some weird shit can happen. I've had mentors tell me that an object wasn't there in front of them and then suddenly it was. How does that happen? It's because this isn't real. This is a fucking lucid dream, people. And it's magic.
Yeah, I think this definitely needs to be our next podcast conversation because I want to get into it right
I
now.
was I was wondering because I was like, what I'm just saying right now kind of goes into one of the TikToks that you said recently. So yeah, we can absolutely talk about this next time because I
Yeah.
could talk about lucid dreaming and things not being there and then suddenly being there. Like, yeah, crazy all day long. So yes.
Well, and that's also with like the Schumann resonance, people talk a lot about quantum leaping.
Mm,
And that's kind of along the same lines as quantum leaping too. This one lady that I watch a lot for Schumann resonance information, she talked about how one of her bank accounts literally disappeared during one of those big Schumann resonance spikes. And it's like this all really is just like this unbelievable like where are your behaviors and your thoughts? Because it can all change that fast.
mhm,
And her bank account disappeared.
mhm,
And there wasn't specifically thing anything in it, but it was her main bank account. But like it was a PayPal account. So it was like not a bank account, I guess. So yeah, it's really interesting. So
yeah, yeah. Honestly, like I have heard stories from people, and for myself, I have small pieces of this, and I'm planning on creating more of this in my life of holy shit, where did that come from? But I've had mentors tell me stories that just make all of the hair on my body stand up because of what they created. And I'm like, that is not a 3D thing that you created. That is a 5D. I thought it, I felt it, I created it now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that we are backed into this thought about ourselves that we are not as powerful as we think. And that is unfortunate. In my opinion, we are told since we are a child not to do XYZ, don't do that, don't do this, don't. And then we start to believe that we can't do these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we start to believe that I'm not good enough. That to me is really like what I think Louise Hay says this in her book, that it all comes down to I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. When you start to realize that you are worthy is the moment that your entire life changes and you create exactly what you want. And it can happen quickly or it can happen over time. Either one is your journey, and it's not good, bad, right, or wrong, but it's your journey and it's beautiful either way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So next time we're going to talk about the other stuff that we were talking about. It wasn't there and now it suddenly is. Let's talk about that. That's fun. So, guys, we're going to call TMI advice you didn't want to wrap for today. So if you're listening on your favorite podcast host, go ahead, give us a 5-star. Let us know in the comment what your thoughts are. And if you're listening on YouTube, go ahead, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let us know once again what your thoughts are in the comments. So with that, we're going to call TMI advice you didn't want a wrap for today. Thanks so much for watching. Click on one of the videos below to continue hanging out with us, and don't forget to subscribe.